Chapter 32 Writing Narrative. Narrative is a description of events that are connected to each other, also known as a story. Fiction writers use narrative to describe imaginary events, but interesting stories happen in real life too. Non-fiction writers use narrative to describe real events. Just like any good story, a good narrative has a beginning, middle, and end. Narratives also contain these elements: context and or setting, a point of view, characters or actors, plot, conclusion. Put this together and you've got all the elements of a story, whether it's fictional or true. Context and or setting. Readers often read both context and setting to orient them in a story and understand it. The context of a narrative is what else is happening at the same time as the story. What happened before the story begins? That's important for the reader to know so he understands the story. The setting of a narrative is when a story happened, where a story happened. Example, winter has always topped in the tiny village of Della Gloria because every year the mountain snows cut it off from the big town in the valley below. Context. But the winter after the war ended was especially bad. Setting. How to create a setting? Answer this question to begin creating a vivid time and place. What does the setting look like? What does the setting sound like? What does it feel like to be there? What's the historical time and place of the setting? What's going on in the world at that time? Narration. In a fictional story, the story is told from the point of view of the narrator. Authors often choose from the three most common types of narrator in fiction. First-person narrator. A narrator who is also a character in the story also might be used first-person narration if the character of the narrator is important to the story or if the story is best told from a single point of view. Second-person narrator tells the story as if it's happening to you. Authors use second-person narration if they want readers to strongly relate and react to the story. Third-person narrator. A narrator who is not a character in the story also uses third-person narration if they want to explore the point of view of main characters or tell a story that doesn't focus on a narrator's character. A few more things to consider when thinking about narration style. A subjective narrative style concentrates on the feeling and opinions of the narrator. Example, it was the most beautiful thing in the world when the shop filled with incredible tiny glowing fish on the first night in August. An objective narrative style conveys the fact with no opinion or slant. Example, on the first night in August, the shop filled with tiny glowing fish. A trustworthy narrator conveys fact and opinion that turn out to be true over the course of the story. Example, a narrator tells you at the beginning of the story that he is a doctor, and all of the events of the story confirm that he is. An untrustworthy narrator conveys fact and opinion that turn out to be false and misleading over the course of the story. Example, a narrator tells you at the beginning of the story that another character is out to get him, but in fact, that character is nothing but kind to him throughout the story. How to choose your narration style? Answer this question to find the right narration style for a story. Do I want narration to be objective or subjective? Would it be more interesting for the narrator to be untrustworthy? Would the story be clearer if the narrator is trustworthy? Do I want my narrator's thought and feeling to be a major part of the story? Create a first-person narrator. Do I want the reader to identify strongly with the narrator? Create a second-person narrator. Do I want the freedom to explore a different point of view? Create a third-person narrator. Characters or actors. Once you know where and when, you need to know who. If you are writing a non-fiction narrative, who are the actors in the story? If you are writing a fictional narrative, who are the characters in the story? A character or actor is often introduced the moment the writer shows him or her doing something or purposely not doing something. You don't have to tell the audience anything about the character or actor the first time he or she is introduced, but keep in mind that the audience doesn't know anything about a character unless you tell them that information. The audience often need to know quite a bit about the characters to understand and enjoy the story. Example: Sebastian Pizarro stared out the window of his family's small cottage. He couldn't run and play in the snow with the other kids because he'd been born with a crooked leg. What nobody else in the town knew, however, was that he'd also been born with something else, the power of fly. The author writes that the character does not play with other kids. Why? The author tells you about the character of telling you what he cannot do. The author uses a plot twist to hint that the boy is capable of extraordinary things. Character development. If your characters aren't interesting, your story won't be very interesting. Nobody wants to read a story about a person who doesn't think about much, doesn't care about much, and sit around all day doing nothing. So it's important to create characters who are dynamic. They take action, change, learn, and grow. You also want to have a full description of those characters. You don't just want to hear that a character is resourceful. You would like to know exactly what that means, how they've been resourceful in the past, how they plan so they can be resourceful now, even who taught them how to be resourceful. Characters should be vivid, clearly described with enough well-chosen detail. Then they begin to take on a life of their own in the mind of the reader. How to create a character? Answer this question to help start to create a dynamic character who's vivid in the reader's mind. What does my character care about? What does my character want out of life? What do other people think about my character? What does my character like? What doesn't my character like? What does my character look like? What does my character sound like? How is my character different from everyone else in my story? Add a TADD, thought, action, dialogue, and description to your character to flesh out your character and make him, her, it dynamic. Plot. The sequence of event in a story. A narrative is a narrative because it's about a story, not